We have new information on an important story. Today, a federal prosecutor in Georgia announced he is opening an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Kendrick Johnson, the 17-year-old whose body was found in a rolled-up mat in his high school gym in January.
My objective is to discover the truth, and I believe that can only be done by gathering all of the evidence and relevant information surrounding Mr. Johnson's death. I am committed to doing everything in my power to answer the questions that exist in this case, or as many of them as we can.
There are many questions. Authorities ruled the death an accident, saying Johnson suffocated inside the mat while reaching for a sneaker. But Johnson's parents never believed that. They say he was murdered, and they launched an effort to reopen the case. I was with the family in May as part of their attempts to get the case fully examined, which is what is finally happening now. New surveillance video shows Kendrick was not alone in the gym. On the tape, you see Kendrick walking into the gym and onto the basketball court where other students were playing. If he wasn't alone in the gym, wouldn't someone have heard him if he was in trouble inside that mat? It's a mystery that federal authorities may now get to the bottom of. Joining me now are Kendrick's parents, Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, and their attorneys, Benjamin Crump and Shaveen King. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
First of all, let me again extend my condolences to you, Kenneth and Jacqueline. Your son's death was ruled an accident. You don't believe that. Why?
Because from the very beginning, 2 days later, after I viewed his body, you can actually look down and tell that something had occurred.
Now, the prosecutor said today, listen to this.
Facts, not feelings or opinions, no matter how sincere they may be, are the basis of a legal investigation. I do this with an open mind, neither accepting nor rejecting the opinions of anyone who has previously investigated the circumstances of his death.
Let me ask you, parents, what do you hope the investigation discovers, and will you accept the outcome of the investigation, whichever way it goes?
Well, as long as it come out the truth of what happened to Kendrick, we will accept it. But it's got to be the truth, because, you know, for a long time, you know, we just been out here waiting. That's all we ever asked for was the truth.
Attorney King, what is it that you're looking for? You've been in this case and moved a lot to get the family to this point. What do you hope will come out of this federal investigation?
Well, in the first instance, Riverdale, we are looking for a investigation that we can believe in, one that demonstrates a sincere interest in identifying the persons responsible for Kendrick's death, or who can produce evidence of what exactly happened. If it was an accident, which I don't believe that it was, but if it was an accident, then of course there ought to be proof that the investigation could produce for the parents and for the public, quite frankly, to look at and say, okay, I understand that as strange as the theory that the sheriff offered may sound, it turns out to be the truth. But in the absence of that, we have no faith in the investigation done thus far. We are enthused about what the U.S. Attorney announced today. However, we are going to still go forward in pursuing our own investigation and making as much information as we can possibly produce available to the U.S. Attorney.
Attorney Crump, the thing that struck me when I was there and talked to the parents is that there was an injury on the head that seemed to be inconsistent with the findings. What is it that you found that was, when you came into the case, that was so compelling that made you question the findings of local authorities?
Well, other than the obvious, ridiculous explanation given by the sheriff's department that he climbed into a wrestling mat, got stuck, and died, Reverend Sharpton. It was the fact that there were so many things, like his clothes were missing that had blood and DNA evidence on them that would have been important. His fingernails were cut back that would have had skin and DNA possibly to tell what happened. But the worst of all, Reverend Sharpton, when they dug their child up for the second autopsy, his organs were missing. That would have provided vital evidence. So, Reverend Sharpton,
his organs were missing?
His organs were missing, his brain, his heart. You know, they thought they buried their whole child. It turned out they only buried half a child. And so we got to find out what happened to Kendrick Johnson. This is a murder mystery, and unfortunately the victim is real. It is Jackie and Ken's child.
Now, Ken, the community there, black and white, has rallied with you. I remember seeing hundreds of people, and there certainly is a lot of hope in the community tonight. But at the end of the day, if, in fact, people were in that gym that night, and in that gym that day your son died, and do know something, and they are watching this show tonight, what would you say to those young people that were in that gym tonight now that there's an official federal inquiry that has been announced? What would you as their father want to say to them?
I would like to say to them that Kendrick could have been their brother or a relative. You know, they don't have to be afraid no more. Just come out and tell the truth and tell what really happened.
Attorney King, do you think that now that the federal government, rather than local authorities, are involved, that if someone knows something, they may feel more comfortable to come forward and say something if, in fact, those type of people or person exist?
Absolutely, Reverend Al. I think that now that there is a force that would be in this investigation and hopefully there in the community, that it would ease people's fears and cause them to step forward and volunteer whatever information they may have.
Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, again, our sympathy and our best wishes for whatever the outcome, that it be fair and just. Benjamin Crump and Shaveen King, attorneys, thank you very much. We'll be right back.